Raise the sails and sharpen your axe, for today we are Vikings. Hi, I'm Neil with the Vigo County Public Library, and today in Beyond the Classroom, we're going to be making our very own model of a Viking ship, while also learning all about these notorious raiders, along with their culture and some of their engineering skills. Vikings are very popular today in all sorts of books, movies, and TV all over popular culture. But it's important to remember, a Viking is more of a job description than it is a type of people. Now, many Vikings did come from the Scandinavia region in Northern Europe. However, you were only really a Viking if you primarily made your wealth from raiding, looking for gold and silver, stealing jewelry, capturing other people's livestock, and capturing human slaves. Vikings were brutal warriors who often took advantage of people who couldn't defend themselves and attacked the vulnerable. However, their complex legacy also had a lot of positives, as they were excellent sailors and engineers. Viking ships were some of the finest in the world at that time and were capable of sailing even across major oceans. In order to make your own Viking ship, you're going to need a number of regular household supplies, most of which you'll get in a kit if you registered for this event. You'll need a carton like this, 1/4 larger should do, a pair of scissors, 2 straws, 12 wooden skewers, some string, a paper bag, and masking tape. Now, you can also make some use of chipboard. It's the type of cardboard you get from cereal boxes or things like that. And a hole punch. Not necessary, but it might help you a little bit later. To start off, we're going to take our carton and cut it vertically so it'll make the base of our boat. You're going to want these slant edges on the sides. And if you've got a little spout like this, be careful to cut around it. Go over the top, and then that way once you're inside, you can maybe take it out and we'll be able to cover it up with some tape. All right, now we've got the base of our ship. Now this pointed part is going to be our front, and this part our back. Now, in a little while, we're going to be covering the entire thing with some masking tape, which one will help waterproof our little boat here, but two, it's going to make it look more like a genuine Viking ship. It'll kind of line up like the boards that are used to build the ships. But before we do that, we need to add a very important part to our Viking ship. Now, the most important part of any authentic Viking ship is the prow head. Now, the prow is the front of the ship, and a prow head is what Vikings would carve into the wood on the front of the ship to make it look like some sort of ferocious beast or monster. In fact, we know this because the ancient Frankish people would call these Viking ships dragon boats. So, what you're going to want to do is either take some chipboard or maybe even the spare cardboard from the other side of your carton. And you can draw and cut out some sort of animal head. It can be anything. I'm going to be making a more traditional dragon, but you can make it and extend it about 1.5 inches, and we'll be taping it onto the front of our boat. All right, now we have our ship and our prow head. We're going to tape it on right there and then cover the rest of our boat with tape. Now remember, you're going to want to use long and horizontal strips to go all the way around. It's okay if you do need to cut your masking tape, try to cut it evenly so it looks more like the shipboards that the Vikings really used. As you're taping up your ship, you might want to go over your carton a few more times. first to overlap to make sure you're not missing any spots, but two, you're going to want to double up a few layers because, as you can see on my carton, you can still see some of the wording here. All right, we've got a few layers of masking tape on our boat now. Let's attach the prow head. All right, next we're going to be attaching the rudder to our ship, which is a piece of wood that helps steer our ship. Now, very old Viking boats actually didn't have a rudder. They had what was called a steerboard. A steerboard is a special kind of oar that's attached to the right side of the ship. Now, steerboard is where we get the modern nautical term starboard, which is where the right side of the ship is located, because sometimes on a ship, you can't tell. As time passed, Vikings moved the steerboard to the back and called it a rudder, and it steered the ship much better. So, to make your own rudder, we're going to take a straw, and again, some of our spare cardboard or chipboard and attach it to it very simply so that it can move to left and right. Now, if you want to decorate your rudder, you can. You can even try to make it look like the tail of whatever creature you made your boat to look like. So what I've done is I've cut my straw in half and taped the straight part to the back of our boat. It's a little difficult to see. And I've also taken the bendy part of the other half of the straw and I've taped it to my rudder, which I've also cut into the shape of a dragon tail. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the other half of the bendy straw and we're going to kind of pinch the end closed so we can fit it into the other half of our straw. That way, it should sit in there nice and tight. And we have a rudder for our ship. And it should be able to move pretty freely as well. All right, now we've got the front of our ship taken care of and the back. Next, we're going to be making our mast. We're gonna have our other straw and we're gonna wanna cut off the bendy part right underneath so we have a nice tall mast here in the center. Or you might wanna keep it on if you want a little bit more height. But to make your straw stronger, what we're going to do is we're going to take our masking tape and wrap it around quite a few times to give it a little bit more structure. Now that we've got our mast all wrapped, we're going to tape it to the center of our boat. All right, now we've got our mast all set. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take two of our wooden skewers, and what they're going to act as the frame of our sail. We're going to have one on top and one on bottom. Now our sail is going to be made out of our paper bag. What you're going to want to do is just take your scissors and cut a small square. So it doesn't tear anymore on the edges, we're also going to be putting some masking tape around the edges and poke some holes through it so that we can stick our skewers through. Now, so we can attach our wooden skewers to your sail, you can just poke some holes around the edges with your scissors. But if you happen to have a hole punch on hand, it's going to make the job a lot easier. All right, we've got our sail all cut. We've got it taped on the edges, and we have some holes punched in. Now, you can make your sail in a few different ways. With our skewers, we can just kind of slide them through the holes we've punched, and that way we have a nice frame on there. Or if you want to get some extra realistic looking sails, you can use the string included to tie your wooden skewers through the holes. Now we're going to just stick this through, but once we get all that completed, we're going to use our string to rig up the sails on our ship. Now we're going to take our sail and attach it to the top of our mast by cutting a small slit horizontally in our mast, and our skewer is going to fit right in there. Now to secure it into place, you're going to want to put some pieces of masking tape on there. All right, that seems pretty sturdy now. Next, we have some lengths of string. Now, how these strings are going to attach is we're going to have one end unattached to anything at the front of our boat, but they're going to go up and over our sail and attach to the back. So when we pull them, it should lift up the sail. All right, now that we've got our ropes rigged up, now, because your Viking boat is made out of mostly masking tape and some cardboard, it's not the most sturdy, but if you gently move the sail up and pull along with the ropes, you can in fact raise your sail up or let go and lower it down. Now we have our own sail on our Viking ship, but wind power wasn't always reliable to get across the water. Viking ships also had oars. Most of the crew and any slaves they had captured on raids would all row in unison to get the ships up to a great speed and travel across the water. Some of the biggest Viking ships could even have 25 pairs of oars. To make your oars, all you need to do is take your wooden skewers and add some masking tape to the end. Tape one side and then the other. And then using your scissors or hole punch, poke some holes in the sides of your ship and put your oars straight through. There we go, all of our oars are added. Now, one last piece to make our Viking ship authentic. We have to add a keel. Now, a keel is actually something that was invented by the Vikings, and it's still used on most ships today. A keel is a long strip of wood that goes from the front to the back of the boat, except it's on the bottom. Now, when you have a keel, it helps stabilize the boat in the water so that when there's a crosswind, the boat doesn't tip. So, to add your keel, what you're going to want to do is cut 2 thin strips of cardboard, or maybe 1 long strip if you have it, and simply use your masking tape to attach it to the bottom. All right, our keel is all attached. You have completed your very own authentic Viking longship. Why don't you take it out and test it out in some water, maybe in the bathtub or in the kitchen sink? Or if you want to display your Viking ship, you can color it, you can change the head, you can add some decorative shields like they historically did along the sides. However you want to make your Viking longship look ferocious, go ahead. If you want to learn more about Vikings or how they sailed all around the world, come to Youth Services and check out some of these books. Guts and Glory, The Vikings by Ben Thompson. The Real Vikings, Craftsmen, Traders, and Fearsome Raiders by Melvin and Gilda Berger. Find Out Vikings by DK Publishing. You can also check out The Treasury of Norse Mythology, Stories of Intrigue, Trickery, Love, and Revenge by Donna Jo Napoli to learn what Vikings believed in. My name is Neil with the Vigo County Public Library, and I hope you enjoyed building your very own Viking ship in Beyond the Classroom. We'll see you next time.